Anyway.
I know, we've been in the same boat. Don't worry.
No, but my commission is going to be 55.
Huh?
Bruno said he's going to give me.
You're gonna go to senior housing?
55, what's that?
Right? I don't know, that's not up to me.
Because I'm going to have drinks and he's going to and put $5 a month.
Wow. All right, so estates and interests. We're on. Estates and interests. What does the word estate mean again? We talked about this yesterday. We talked about what is real estate, right? What was the word estate? Assets. Correct. So estate means assets, something you own. But you can also have interests or claims. So on top of estates, you write assets. On top of interests, you're going to write claims. Claims. Take this for you.
No, I have company.
You took my spot.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, damn. I'll leave.
Sorry.
Listen, I would not mess with Nigeria.
Like tomorrow,
I give you cards. That's for you.
Oh, good.
I'll explain right after. That's for you. All right, cool. So estates, we got it. Assets, interests, we got it. Claims, right? And we covered all this pretty much yesterday. Right? When we talked about subsurface rights or interests. Air rights or interests, right? That's what it is. So, estates in land, because estate means asset. If it says estate in land, we're talking about ownership of land or property or real estate. And it says not all forms of ownership or real estate are equal. An owner may or may not be able to pass property on to the heirs. Sometimes ownership may exist only as long as the property is used for a specific purpose. In addition, please highlight, underline, put stars. Other persons may possess certain interests which are legal claims or rights in one's real estate. These are two short chapters, but they drag in certain areas of the chapter. Now, the amount and kind of ownership interest that a person has in real property is an estate in land. Ownership of real property is an estate in land. And estates and lands are divided into two major classifications. We have freehold estates, and we have less than freehold or leasehold estates. Freehold estates are estates of indeterminate length, meaning a person may own that estate for a lifetime or forever. And three, freehold estates are recognized in New Jersey. They are fee simple, fee determinable, and life estates. We're going to go in detail to all of these, okay? The first two of these estates continue for an indefinite period and are inheritable by the heirs of the owner. The third estate, please highlight, underline, put stars. The third estate ends on the death of the person on whose life it is based. Again, don't worry, I'll explain in a second. Leasehold estates, we're going to talk about these in chapter 12, so for now it's just a quick reference. Leasehold estates, it starts with lease. The word right here, look, starts with lease. If it starts with lease, means that the leasehold involves tenants. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
These will be in chapter 12. Leases will be chapter 12. So leasehold estate, that's all we're referencing now. So we're going to start with freehold. And freehold means you own it. Nobody else has a superior claim to your property. Because a leasehold You are a tenant, but you cannot sell the property. You cannot gift the property because only the owner or the landlord has that right. Correct? So freehold, nobody has a claim on your property. You can do whatever you want with it. You're the owner. And there's fee simple. And fee simple is simple. You own it. You can pass it along to your heirs. You can dispose of the property at any time. You can do whatever you want with the property. Nobody can question you on your actions with the property. You got it? Great. Then we have fee determinable. In front of fee determinable, I want you to write conditional or contingent. Fee determinable. And where it says fee, I want you guys to remember ownership, okay? So every time you see fee simple, you own it. Simple. Fee determinable, you own it, but there's a condition or a contingency. Meaning, if you screw up, you might lose the property. Okay, so let's figure out what happens here. In New Jersey, a fee determinable, also known as conditional fee or divisible fee, is an estate in land that can terminate on the occurrence or non-occurrence of a specified event. If you do this, or you will lose it. If you don't do that, you will lose it. So there's a condition. Okay? For example, John Smith conveys or transfers title to 1,000 acres to the Jones Foundation. I'm going to stay right here for a second. Where it says conveys, I want you to circle. Where it says transfers, I want you to circle. Because every time you see conveyance or conveys or transfers, it means exactly the same. Conveys means transferred, either by gift or sale, but it was a transfer. So John Smith transferred 1,000 acres to the Jones Foundation as long as they kept it as wildlife preserve. 5 years later, the Jones Foundation decided to do what? To build a corporate headquarters. How is a building wildlife? It's not. So I sold to you with a condition. The condition was, it's yours as long as you keep it as wildlife. That was a condition. You put a building on it, you've breached our agreement. So what happens now is title or the ownership to the property that you have reverts back to me. I sold it to you. It's yours as long as. Very simple example. You give a cell phone to somebody, right? Like kids, especially with the kids. You give a cell phone to the kids and you're like, hey, here's a cell phone. Make sure your grades don't go down. Here's a cell phone. Don't spend all your time on YouTube. Here's a cell phone. It's not for you to be playing games. It's strictly for communication between us. Right? If they breach the agreement, the cell phone is theirs. And if they breach the agreement, what do?
Take it away.
Take it away. It comes back to me. Does that make sense? So think about it that way. A fee determinable is, it's yours as long as you agree to our conditions. The moment you breach this agreement, property comes back to me. Good? Okay. This future interest is called possibility of reverter. So reverting back to me. Now let's make it worse for the kids. What if I say, like, my oldest, his name is Pedro, he has a cell phone, right? So what if I say, hey, Pedro, not Pedro, my partner, that's way older than me, but my son's name is Pedro. So what if I say, hey, Pedro, the cell phone's yours. If your grades drop, I'm taking the cell phone away and I'm giving to your sister, Kayleen. Do you think he's going to be happy?
No.
No, because kids are like that. Were you taking away from me and you're giving to my sister? Not happening. Right? But guess what? If his grades drop, I will take the cell phone. It doesn't come back to me. It goes to a third party, to my daughter, right? To his sister. So, we call that the remainderment. It doesn't come back to me. It goes to a third party because the agreement was between me and my son. But then I named my daughter as a third party to this agreement, which is, these are my conditions to you. If you screw up, she's going to benefit from it. You guys got it? So remainderment is a third party named in the instrument. Okay? This is a brand new explanation, by the way. Never used it in class. We just took the phone away from my daughter, so that's why. Temporarily. Gotta hurt a little bit.
That really works.
Huh?
That really works.
The cell phone, yeah, it's like life ends.
Wow. I have a 13-year-old too. Her cell phone?
Forget parents. If I got a cell phone, I'm good, says the kid. Right?
Yeah.
My side notes. My daughter is the same age as my sister, my youngest sister, right? So they spend hours chatting with each other. Hours. My sister gets out of class, starts already trying to reach my daughter. I'm like, come on, get a life. It's good that you guys are like this, but you get a life, do something. So once something starts failing, you hit him where it hurts, which is, yeah, not today. You're not going to talk. Things change quickly. I'll behave. Anyway, remainderment, third party. You guys good? Let's complicate things. Life estate. Life estate is based on somebody's life. So, a life estate is literally the life of a specific person. The owner of a normal life estate does not have the right to, right-hand side on top, pass ownership to heirs because the life estate ends on the death of the owner. So the way it works is, Michael, I'm going to sell my property to you as long as you're alive. The moment you die, what happens to the property?
Right to you.
It comes back to me. See, this is a fee determinable as well, but the condition is specific. It's somebody's life. As long as you're alive, property is yours, and you can do whatever you want. When you die, you cannot pass it along to your heirs. It comes back to me. You got it? Now, what if I named Yasmin as a person to receive the property? So upon your death, she gets the property. Then she will be the remainderman. Concept is exactly the same. Okay? You guys understand? Okay, cool. So that's what it says here. Reversion interest, all that stuff. The life estate could also be tied to the life of a third party. So I could say, Michael, the property is yours as long as Karen's alive. Now you're safe, right? Michael, you got this. She's going to live forever. She's young, right? So he's gonna have this property for a very long time. When you die, it doesn't go to your heirs. When she dies, it doesn't go to her heirs. It still comes back to me. You own it as long as she's alive. You guys got it? Again, when she dies, if I wanted to go to somebody else, if I wanted to go to Yasmin, same concept. She's still the remainderman. It's still based on somebody's life. You're still the owner. You got to keep her alive. Otherwise, you lose it, she wins. You guys got it? Yes.
So in what type of situation would somebody do that?
A crazy situation. Now, usually us, the mere commoners, not the wealthy people, we don't come up with these strategies. We should, but we don't. So it's very common that I'll sell to you and say, it's a type of estate preservation. That's what I call it. I'll sell to you, and eventually you will die, because we all die. I might not be alive. Most likely my kids will be by the time you die. I'm doing this for them. If I sell 10 homes with this clause that it's yours as long as you're alive, you're the one maintaining the property. You're the one paying for taxes, the insurance, and all that stuff. It's your property, 100% yours.
It's like a long-term rental.
Look like a long-term renter that takes care of everything, though, because it's yours. The benefit is Once you die, so you don't have the benefit of dying, but the benefit is once you die, it comes back to me or to my heirs. So estate preservation. Imagine if every property we sold, we put that little clause there. It's yours as long as you're alive.
Nobody buy properties.
Why not?
Nobody
Why I'm
knows.
gonna buy a property on somebody's life and the person
Tell me
dies?
one contract that you read so far.
These are investments.
Well, people don't do it too much.
That's what I'm trying to say. Tell me you guys read contracts.
I don't.
Every single line in the contract. No.
Does the
Well, but
lawyer
if
do?
something happens, you're
Say it again.
Does the lawyer read it?
The lawyer? Maybe. So does the title company? Maybe.
They should let you know.
Oh yeah, they should.
It's not their signature in there.
also
But it's not their signature there, yeah. No, but yes, absolutely. They should let you know that there's restrictions, which these are covenants and restrictions, right? They should let you know that there's restrictions in the deed. Meaning, hey, Anna, not the other Anna. Hey, Anna, you're buying, because she asked the question. You're buying a property, but there's appears to be a condition here. It's based on Karen's life. See, Michael was trying to get rid of it. He was like, I don't know, Karen is young, but you never know. So Michael tried to sell to Anna. Anna goes buy the property, and the title company says, oh, wait a minute. We will insure, but there's an issue here that you need to be aware of. You might lose the property as soon as this person, Karen, loses her life. Does that make sense? So these conditions, yes, should be told to you. Does it always happen?
No.
No. Of course, you have the right to sue somebody, whoever is supposed to disclose to you, right? And they're going to say, well, you did sign the document at closing. And then they can say, oh, but I didn't understand. And your attorney is going to go, but you didn't ask.
It's going to be a binding game.
It's always like that. Whenever there's something wrong, it's never my fault. It was always somebody else. Always. I've barely ever heard of a person admitting to their fault right away, saying, no, you know what? You're absolutely right. I did this. All right? Most people I hear saying, yeah, I did this. Right after the I did this comes, but. Right? Have you heard this before? I did this, but, well, he or you allowed this to happen somehow. There's always a catch. Nobody admits out of free will and take the whole blame. Right, Karen? Say yes. What did you do? Why did you do it? All right. As I was saying, the holder of a life estate has true ownership of real property. The life tenant cannot, however, waste the property, and that is, he or she cannot perform any acts that would permanently harm the land or property or destroy its value. Property is 100% yours, Michael, but you can't destroy it. A life tenant, Michael, you're entitled to all the income and profit arising from the property. But you're also responsible for the maintenance, obviously, and paying taxes on it. It's pure ownership. The only thing is that one condition that once somebody dies, it reverts. So you can sell it, you can lease it, you can gift it. You just cannot will it because upon your death, it goes to the previous owner. You guys got it or no? Questions? No? Cool. Next, we got dower and courtesy. Has anybody ever heard of this before? No? All right, so here's the thing. Dower is an ancient right in which a wife has certain interest upon her husband's death in any real estate he owned in during. Wait. You gotta let me finish the sentence, because I know if I stop right there, it's weird. A wife has certain interest upon her husband's death. If it stops right there, it's really weird. All it's trying to say, Sonia, before you get too excited, it's interest in any real estate that they own during their marriage. Got it? Courtesy is a similar right that the husband has when the wife dies. For us, is merely a courtesy, because we usually don't outlive women, so courtesy. Isn't that true?
They're the ones that do it, though.
Do or die. All right, dower and courtesy. This is the way it works. When dower courtesy was in effect, and it's no longer in effect, when dower courtesy is in effect, if I own the property and we're married, it belongs to us. If you own the property and we're married, it belongs to us. Okay? Now, as of May 28, 1980, New Jersey has abolished the creation of any new dower courtesy rights and instead gives both husband and wife the right of joint possession of the property that is their main marital residence. So now, what is ours? It's either the house where we live, regardless of whose name is under, or properties we buy together. You got it? If I buy a property under my own name, it belongs to me. If you buy a property under your own name, it belongs to you. You got it? So this is title. I'm not saying you're not going to get sued over the property at the time of divorce, right? But I'm telling you that title, this is all about title. Title is automatically both if it's the main marital residence or individual if you purchase by yourself. Okay? Still consult an attorney before you decide to sell the property you own by yourself. Okay?
She's gonna get the money.
Or he's going to get the money.
Or,
We talked about discrimination yesterday. Don't do this. All right. So, notice how they're paying attention to this part. Right? Like, All right. First was Sonia. Somebody's death. Husband's death. I have interest. Great. Let's find out more. Stephanie in the back is like, Sandra is like, big smile. I got this.
It's mine already, so it doesn't matter.
Oof, see? Hey, Monica's like eyes open. Never seen the eyes so open before. All right. Here you go. Ready? The real estate broker, us, because we're the extension of the broker, must learn which rules apply in any specific case in order to judge whether both spouses need to sign documents when only one owns the real estate. Where both the husband and wife are listed as owners, both must, of course, sign any relevant documents. And I already explained this. In many cases, a non-owning spouse must agree to release claims of dower, courtesy, or possession by signing a listing contract, sales contract, or deed. And now it's where I want you to pay attention. For real estate owned during their marriage by one spouse, before, circle or underline, put arrows, bubbles, whatever you got to put. Before May 28, 1980, a surviving spouse has the rights of dower or courtesy. Dower or courtesy. And any document relating to the property should be signed by both spouses, no matter which one is the owner. So, as I said already, if it's owned before May 28, 1980, it doesn't matter who owned it. Belongs to
both.
both. Very good. Now, this is a separate bullet point. In this one, I want you to underline, put arrows, put bubbles, put stars, whatever you got to put to call your attention. Because if it's the family home or primary residence, where you live, then it doesn't matter if it was before or after May 28, 1980. It belongs to both. I already covered this. Even if only one is listed as the owner. If it's under my name, it belongs to both. If it's the family home only. Okay? All real estate acquired after May 28, 1980. Circle after May 28, 1980. That is not the family home. Underline, not the family home. may be sold by the owner only without signature of a spouse. And we already covered this. I already said it. We're just putting it now right there, highlighting stars and all that stuff. Okay? Did you guys get it? Easy, right? Before May 28, 1980, doesn't matter who owns it, 50-50 regardless, right? So when one dies, the other one acquires the other 50. It becomes 100% owner. Okay?
Confused.
Sonia's confused?
Karen.
That's right. Do it. This is the new rule. You see somebody confused, smack them, raise their hand, and be like, hey, they're confused. That's what she did. Sonia.
Yeah, I am confused. So.
About how to kill your husband, or
No, about
and
the
what you
second-
get after?
About the second bullet.
Second bullet? See?
Yes,
That's what I'm saying. It's the bullet.
bullet.
Bullet point, you're saying.
Mhm.
Okay. What about it?
So you're saying if it's the primary home, doesn't matter if it was bought,
Where do you sleep?
In the back.
doesn't matter
Where do you sleep?
if when we got married, I owned the house
Regardless, where do you sleep?
in the bed.
No, got it. In the bed. In a house.
Yeah.
Your husband sleeps in the same house.
If I was married, yes.
Okay. But that's the point. Usually, that's the marital home.
Okay. It doesn't matter if.
Doesn't matter who owns it. If you're married, it belongs to
Both.
both. Only
That's not fair.
marital home. That's not fair.
No, it's not fair.
How can you say it's not fair? It's where you both live.
But
If you both live, you both maintain. If you both maintain, you also both put money into the house.
yeah.
It's under your name. What's not fair is that I've been maintaining this house,
And then you live with nothing. That's right.
Does a prenup?
and that's why bullets
Cancel that.
exist. But bullet points exist, I mean.
Okay. Okay.
I
Prenup?
just wondered, does a prenup nullify that law?
It's a little complicated, but yes, a prenup, that's the purpose. So this is if there's no other contracts. By law, this is what it's
But there
stated.
is-
If you agree to separate the assets, even though a judge will still try to enforce this, because it's a marital home and I did put money into it, the prenup will be clear about it. Yeah. If it's done right, yes.
And what about an investment?
I was gonna ask you.
Is it owned by both or by one?
One.
Then it's this.
Yes, but will is he entitled to?
Did he put money into it?
Get the chandelier.
No.
and get-
Let's say no.
Question, did he put money into it?
Let's say no.
Did he put sweat equity, meaning he did some work in the property? He did. So he put money into it. Because time is,
Money.
California law says that it's worth $10 an hour at least, 24/7. So think about $240 a day. That's what it's worth, yeah. Children,
Now I'm confused.
But is
So
it
if
legal?
it's an investment property,
no.
it's not the primary residence, why?
No. So there was a question asked, and I think the question was based on if my name, his name or my name is not there, then how can they own it? And they don't. Title. That's why I said this is title. But in the event of a divorce, any crappy lawyer will be able to say, ask the same questions that I asked, right? Which is in front of the judge.
Oh, on a
It's
divorce.
cheaper not divorce.
I thought it
that's
was
it.
talking about.
No, this is title, it's this way. But I can guarantee you, the crappiest attorney will ask in front of the judge, Your Honor, this person has invested some time and effort into the property. They have put money because it came of their salary together, the conjoined salary, the marital income. Therefore, even though the name is not there, he or she should be entitled to a portion of the real estate.
But now how?
Even though it's not on title, that's how they would try to claim it. And the judge will ask, is it true that this person, he or she, did fix this, did put that, did maintain, did put
But
money?
we're talking about the signatures, we're not talking about any money.
I know, but
Oh.
okay, that's
Talking
beyond.
Oh.
It's what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is title, but you guys are asking me beyond.
Yeah, okay, so that's why I'm confused.
Don't get confused. This is title. Automatically, after May 28, 1980, who owns the property? If it's an investment home, not owned by both, then it belongs to one.
Okay.
If it's the marital home, doesn't matter who owns it, one or two, it belongs to two.
Okay.
That's title.
Fair enough.
But just trying to be clear. Whatever you try to hide
We'll bite you back.
will bite you, because again, if I go there and I'm painting or fixing stuff, even though it's not under my name, I put what's called sweat equity. Work into the property and do not get compensated for it. You guys understand? And that's what the attorneys will try to grab on. Will they win? Maybe. Will they lose? Maybe. But there is a shot, even though, by law, if it's one person, then it belongs to that one person. Okay? You guys got it?
If you pay,
Then you have them there too.
What's that pay by giving
Who's going to pay?
in
I
kind?
pay my husband.
If you pay your husband to shut up?
In kind? Or
Yeah.
in cash?
In
All
kind,
the
cash?
jobs that you're doing.
In kind, in cash?
And documented.
All right. That's what he said, in kind. Translating Portuguese for you guys. Anyway. You guys got it?
Yes.
Title is different than claims. There could be a claim, may not be a claim. What's important is what it says right here. The seller should, however, consult an attorney before signing any documents without the spouse. Simple. It is yours, but there is a possibility that they might be able to claim it. All right? And you guys thought you were smart hiding it, huh?
Can you transfer the title
To what? To an LLC?
To someone else, so you
to
don't
someone
have
else,
to.
but not selling and not getting a profit on it, and then when.
So now, Your Honor, I would like to know why the defendant has transferred the property in the midst of a divorce. And that transfer came with no gain. The true value was $1, Your Honor. Very suspicious. I say that this is fraud.
That's for others.
And that's
Or
fraud.
intention to commit.
A lot of people try that.
Yep. No.
That and other things.
Throw me any angle. I'll put you in the court of law right now, and you'll see how it plays out. Encumbrances. What is an encumbrance? Has anybody ever heard of this before? Encumbrance? No? Something on the property, yes.
Claims on property.
But what I want you to write in front of encumbrance, I want you to write cloud.
What?
Cloud.
It's not iCloud.
Well,
Not iCloud, just cloud, yeah. We don't use eyes here. Just cloud. Okay?
Here comes Bruno with the.
All right, so encumbrance cloud. And I always give this example because to me it's the easiest example for people to understand. Every time there's a cloud over you, you don't have the same spirit. You don't have the same energy. You don't have the same freedom. Like, look at the weather. It's depressing. Right? A couple days ago, we're in summer. Now we're in deep winter. Right? It's Jersey. It fluctuates like that. In the morning, it could be 70 degrees. In the afternoon, it's 30 degrees. Very sunny. And then at night, it rains. I mean, Jersey. You never know when to be happy, when to be sad, when to be bothered or not. Right? It's crazy. So every time there's a cloud on you, it limits the things you can do. Right? Who likes spring or summer? Anybody? Okay, keep your hand up if you like winter. Okay, just two people and kinda. Kinda?
I don't go out.
You like the
I
cold?
work from home.
You're not a true Ecuadorian.
It's always Alaska.
Huh?
It's always Alaska.
There's always Alaska, yeah. Don't go that far, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the point was, most people raised their hands when we talked about summer, spring. And only a few people raised their hands when we talked about winter. Why did you guys lower your hand when we talk about winter? Yeah, it's like, it's bad. You feel like,
Dark.
it's
Yeah,
dark.
cold.
You don't even feel like getting out of bed,
Darkness.
right? It's like this. Let me stay here.
That's the
Right?
worst.
So it limits you. It limits you, and that's what we're talking about. An encumbrance is something that limits the property. It's a cloud. It's a claim, lien, charge, or liability attached to and binding on real property. It affects or limits its use, as we just said right now, even the value or title. So an encumbrance is anything that's attached to the property that affects the use, value, or title. You got it?
Tax lien?
Could be taxes. Could be a mortgage. It could be somebody's rights to your property, like a shared driveway. You got it?
Yeah.
Because if you have a shared driveway, it's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not buying this house. Or it's not worth as much as the same house, but with its own driveway. You guys understand? Okay. Now, encumbrances may be divided into two general classifications. We have liens and we have physical or usage encumbrances. So we're going to start with liens. In front of liens, I want you to write money.
How are we gonna say that? No.
Money. That's what it is. In front of liens, I want you to write money. Why? Because every time you hear the word lien, we're talking about financial claims. So when you look at the answers, every time you hear the word lien or see the word lien, you look at the answers, you look for anything that has monetary worth. You guys got it? Cool. So a lien is a financial claim against property that provides security for a debt or obligation of the property owner. If the obligation is not repaid, the lien holder or creditor has the right to have it paid out of the property, usually from the proceeds of a court sale. Foreclosure. Got it? Proceeds of court sale is a foreclosure. We'll talk about it later. Then liens can be classified as voluntary liens or involuntary liens. Thinking about the word, forget real estate, forget everything else. Thinking about the word voluntary, what does that mean?
Willing?
Willing. What about involuntary? Not willing, right? Being forced. All right? So can anybody give me an example of a voluntary lien, something you want, you're willing to do? Something against your
Second
property.
mortgage?
A second mortgage? How about the first one? Didn't you want to buy the house?
Yeah.
So you asked for a loan, money, and they said, yes, I'll give you the money if I can put a lien called mortgage on the property. So a mortgage, first, second, third, fourth, doesn't matter. You asked for it, therefore it's a voluntary lien. Got it? Involuntary is something you do not ask for. Example?
You didn't pay your taxes?
Taxes. Did anybody ever say, hey, tax me? No? Does anybody walk around the board and says, hey, please tax me? I'm right here, tax me, please. Anybody? No. But it's there. You're being forced to pay something that you didn't ask for. Mortgage, you're forced to pay it because you asked for the money to buy the house. You guys got it? Voluntary, involuntary. And then we have general and specific liens. A general lien affects all property, real and personal property, that you own. A specific lien is attached to a specific property. For instance, mortgages or taxes are against a property only. If you have B property, C property, and so on, they have their own independent liens, their own independent mortgage or taxes. So if you stop paying on this property, will it affect this one?
No.
No, because it's against this one only. It's a specific lien. A general lien affects property A, property B, property C, your checking account, your savings account, your IRA, your 401k, your taxes, your driver's license, your real estate license,
like
your
IRS.
passport. Sounds like what?
IRS.
IRS
Child support.
is a general lien. It also sounds like what?
Child support.
Child support,
Oh, yeah.
general liens. These are the two most common,
Child support even take your license away.
and your passport. You won't be able to travel at all. You guys got it? Child support. Yeah. You made them, pay for them. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
Yeah. Either that or go to another country that doesn't have extradition because it's a crime.
Go to Ukraine.
Ukraine? That has nothing to do with the.
There's no instruction while we stay out this president.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure it had to do with that. There's a couple places that have no extradition in
Russia.
in Africa. There's a couple countries that don't.
Yeah.
I can tell right now.
We do have extraction in Nigeria, but I can bet you I'll take you to Nigeria. Don't worry yourself. You live like a king. No one can extract you here.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
As long as you have, you know.
All right. So yesterday we were talking about scams. I'll turn this off. We'll figure out how to do this, and then I just go to Nigeria.
Yeah, they just consult me. I'll hook you up.
Okay, cool. I'm telling you, he used to be a math teacher for a reason.
Oh.
Numbers. We call him the math teacher. Just that's the code name, the street name.
Someone's gonna change, right?
All right, cool. Did you get whatever she was explaining? I was just giving you guys time to finish the
Thank you
explanation.
so much.
You're welcome so much. Was that a question involved or? Okay, cool. All right, so don't worry, because when I go back to the audio, it picks up everything you said. So it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You didn't tell us that.
and I know. That's why I usually ask you guys to, if you have questions, ask me, because this, for some reason, this camera is funny. Whatever's behind it, it catches better than whatever's in front of it. So I'm talking loud, but it still picks up every single sound of everything you do. If you guys watch, roughly 3 weeks ago, I had somebody in this class sitting in the front and coughing all the time. And I asked that person to please stop because that's the only thing I'm going to hear. And people at home, the only thing they're going to hear.
Wait, hold on. Can I put it on it?
Have fun. She's already like... That's why that person now sits in the back. It wasn't me now, see? I didn't say your name.
Listen,
I just looked at you, okay?
that's it, you know.
That's it. So nobody at home knows that it's Anna Silva, okay?
She needs her job back.
Oh yeah, that's why she snitches.
That's why now she's doing whatever you want. Do this.
All right. So effects of liens on title. What was the lien again?
Money.
Money. So effects of financial claims or money you owe on title. It says, although a property is not worth as much when it has liens against it, the owner is still free to sell it to someone who's willing to take the encumbrances along with the property. See, I have a mortgage. I can sell you the house with a mortgage. You just take over my mortgage. You make the payments if you're willing to. Simple as that. What you need to know is that encumbrances, which are liens and other kinds, they run with the land, not with the property owner. So they go to real estate. So if I sell the property to you, they'll still come take the property if you fail to pay. I'm no longer there, but they still come against the property. Okay? Now, these are still binding after a sale, but liens, except for property taxes and special assessments, do not survive foreclosure. And we'll talk about that better in a second. Liens attached to the property, not to the property owner. Start. Danny L. I know. Okay. I just got a message that says, I know. I'm sorry I wasn't looking at the screen, so I don't know exactly what you know, but it's good to know. Just tell me what you know and I'll tell you if it's okay.
It is okay.
It is okay. Now, priority of liens. I'm already guessing who Danny L is, but let's see if he pronounces himself. Anyway, priority of liens. What is priority? Meaning who goes first, right? So the priority of a lien determines the order in which debts will be paid off in case of a foreclosure. Real estate taxes and special assessments for improvements that enhance the value of the property generally take priority over all other liens. He knows about Anna. That's so awesome. So even though I said nobody at home knows that it's Anna Silva, that's what it was that he got. I know. That's so funny.
And is well known.
Known around the world.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a lot of money, I'm telling you. With all the publicity I'm doing already for you,
Doing marketing for her.
that's what it is.
She's gonna be like, you remember that?
Yeah. Listen,
When I went to-"
I would do marketing for Allied Brothers, but they told me they would only go do marketing for me if I made marketing for them. So it's tough. It's bad. So what are you, the sister? It says Allied Brothers and say Allied Brothers and sister.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just saying.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah? Oh, I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Oh, you are the sister though.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
people say that.
See?
Hey, they're like, they should switch that.
Yeah, but then they're gonna look at roofing, windows, and siding, and then they go look like, here comes discrimination. Sister? Yeah, no, I don't think she's gonna be doing my siding. It's a discrimination part of it. We talked about this.
I got discriminated.
It's sad. You shouldn't get discriminated. All right. Other outstanding liens, please highlight. Other outstanding
For
liens.
knowledge though.
I know.
Confused.
Like knowing that the roof is 5 years old.
No, like I had this guy once, like he was sitting in front of me and he kept on asking and asking and asking. And I'm like, wait, do you feel certain kind of way because the lady's selling your roof and you think
Absolutely.
should be here? He's like, no, not really.
But that's what it is. Absolutely.
I'm like, okay.
I'm so confused. I'm lost.
So-
You have to come to classes for you.
I know. Yeah.
Ooh.
Right?
You saw that, right?
Do the-
Mic drop. That was a payback for, Woo. That's why we keep them at a distance from each other. Anyway, so she has her brothers have a company, and they put her in the office as a manager. Have a company which does roofing, siding, windows, so exterior work. That's it.
Okay. And what's the rest?
You didn't give out your card?
You came late, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Excuses, Michael. Excuses.
Okay, so hold on.
It's discrimination. She does not want to work with Nigerians. Don't worry.
Don't worry, I'll pay you in kind.
Getting better.
So hold on.
Holding.
She's saying that. Ooh, I didn't get the names also. Oh, it's Allied Brothers. Okay.
Now you got
And
it?
then- Yeah.
Okay.
So
She
you're
doesn't have
the
a card
sister.
No, she doesn't have a card either.
No, she's one of the parents.
You don't have a card?
You're the only sister, or there's more sisters?
I am the sister.
Okay.
I am the sister. You see
So
that?
I'm confused.
I'm the sister.
Okay, so
So instead of manager, you say the sister.
instead of your brothers going, you go, and then like they do the work. Or no?
Now I'm
Well,
confused.
I do sales too. I manage the company in the office, but I do sales
And
outside.
they do the job.
Oh,
So,
okay, now I got the part.
This guy, like,
Some people work, some
I
don't.
felt that
Right?
he was feeling some kind of way.
Hey,
So I was selling. And this
Did you hear what he said?
construction industry
I'm
is
lost.
Some
dominated,
people do the
for
work.
men, you know?
All right. That was
She could be
discrimination.
working also, you know. There's
Huh?
people that also work in construction. She could be working also with their brothers. It's just when she said it that she was talking to a guy, I thought that she was
Yeah, no, but that's
selling.
unfortunately people still
Yeah.
do that. Certain jobs are not meant for women. That's what they have in their mind.
And some jobs is
No,
not
so
meant
is
for.
For men, which people have that in their mind. It's just the way it is. It sucks, but people do have that in their heads. Anyway,
Anyway,
So, as I was saying, before somebody said they were confused, right here, outstanding liens are paid in the order of their priority, which is normally determined by, please underline, the date of recording in the public records of the county where the property is located. So, if I want to record a lien, like a mortgage, I have to go to county records and say, hey, I'm here. Put the flag down and say, I'm here. Whoever puts the mortgage lien first becomes the first lien holder. Whoever puts second becomes the second lien holder, and so on. It's based on date of recording. So in the event of foreclosure, who gets paid first?
for the lien first.
Texas.
Taxes and special assessments.
That's
Then,
Glenn
what you were saying, whoever records first. Got it?
right.
So first, taxes, always.
Yeah.
And then, it's whoever records first.
Mhm.
Okay? If there's enough money to pay everybody else, great. If not, everybody else gets wiped out by the sale. You got it?
Yeah.
First taxes, then first mortgage, then second mortgage, third mortgage, and so on, or liens, and so on. Right?
Yeah, that took me a while.
To figure out first, second, and third.
You had to explain at least twice how to work on mortgage.
Yeah, because he's not a good teacher.
Oops.
She's
Weren't we talking about bullets before?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Live threatening situation. Anyway, mortgage liens. We already covered mortgage liens. Right? You ask for money, and they put a lien against the property called mortgage lien. On the right-hand side on top, we have construction liens. Construction liens, also known as mechanics liens, can be placed against real estate by workers who have contributed labor and material to that specific property and who have not been repaid. Or paid, I'm sorry, who have not been paid. So if you do construction work or the siding, the roof, and all that stuff, you expect to get paid by the time you're done, right? If they don't pay, what do? You go to court. Nope, you go to court first.
Take the roof out.
You go to court, you get a judgment, and that judgment becomes a lien. Now, the thing is, a court proceeding or litigation could take years, right? So to protect your interest as workers, this type of lien is retroactive, meaning it goes back to when the work in question originally began or material was first delivered. So what we're saying is, even though the judgment comes later, it's as good as if it was in the beginning, when you delivered the work or material. You guys got it? So, to make it clear, in 2005, you buy the property, you get a first mortgage. 2006, you do some work, but you don't pay. 2007, because of the work you did, it increased in value, so you get a second mortgage. Okay? From 2006 and on, we're in court. 3 years later, 2009, we get a judgment. So in the event of foreclosure, who gets paid first? Taxes.
Taxes, then
2005 mortgage. Then construction lien is retroactive to 2006 when the work was done.
On the second one.
And then it's the second mortgage. You guys got it? Construction liens, they go back in time. They're effective non-pro-tunc. Now, as if it was then. They go back in time to the day that work was done or material was delivered. So anything that happened after that, while we were in court, it's secondary. So even though the judgment only comes and the lien only comes at this point, everything that happened after the construction or delivery material, anything after, okay, is secondary to your construction lien. Yes.
Even if there was like a partial payment, it would still go back to the original date, so the original like conversation date?
Partial payment for what? Not conversation, work. Partial payment for what?
So let's just say the job was $20,000, you got paid 10.
Okay.
It still goes back to
Did
that
you get paid
original-
10 as a deposit? Did you get paid 10 because some work was done? Did you get paid paid 10 because you completed and all I got you was 10.
I don't know.
All this comes into play.
Okay.
If it was a
So-
deposit, it's prior to work beginning, so yes, retroactive.
Okay, so regardless of receiving a payment, it would still go back to that?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you paid part of the work. Why? Because part of the work was done and not completed, then that's a different story. Let's fight for it. You paid part of the work, but the work was completed, you owe the rest, yeah, it goes back still.
Okay.
Oh, but if you pay the taxes for the first mortgage and then you go to construction, sometimes they will get paid because of the money you made in the foreclosure.
Correct. In foreclosure, if there's not enough money,
So there's a
they will get wiped out.
sometimes even the first mortgage gets wiped out, right?
Well, no, first mortgage will always receive something. They might not get paid everything. Because if you sell a house in foreclosure for the price of taxes, something is definitely wrong with that house.
We would
So you can
say hall in the house, maybe?
It's falling apart, it's contaminated, it's like a big disaster.
Usually the mortgage pays the taxes anyway, so they can put the house on.
That's to protect. When we get to chapter 12, we'll talk about, 13, we'll talk about that. It's to protect their interest. Absolutely.
Now, my question is, on this case, if the property gets sold before they come to the end of the judgment for the construction.
Okay, if there's a lawsuit, actually hold on to that thought for a second, okay? Because we're going to go into judgments and then that. So judgments, what is a judgment? It's a decision. Where it says decree, which you guys need to know what a decree means. Where it says decree, I want you to write decision or order of the court. Decree is a decision or order of the court.
What's that? Bubbles.
Focus. All right. Next. Next page. So addressing Sergio's question. We have something called lis pendens. Lis pendens. Lis pendens means lawsuit pending. Lawsuit pending. In front of lis pendens, write lawsuit pending. Okay? So, addressing your question. A lis pendens, and you guys can highlight what's here. A lis pendens is a notice. In front of lawsuit pending, if you want, you can write notice as well. A lis pendens is a notice that there's a lawsuit pending somewhere. Now, where do we file lawsuits? In court. Court is now where we file records. Records go into county public land records. You got it? So, here in county, we're filing a lis pendens, which is a notice that says, hey, there's a lawsuit pending over there in court that might affect your property. So you're asking if the house gets sold and there's the lawsuit pending. That's what the lis pendens is supposed to give as an alert to a buyer. Because when they pull title, when they do a title search, it's supposed to be there and say, hey, all these things are here. Let's figure out what's going on there. Does that make sense? You got it? It's an alert to the buyer to protect their interest in the property. In fact, do you guys remember I said that encumbrance was a cloud?
Yeah.
It says right here, a lis pendens creates a cloud on the title until the lawsuit is settled. So it encumbers the title and limits the ability to sell. It limits its value because until that is decided in court, right, nobody should be buying this property. So it limits what you can do with it. It's an encumbrance. It's a cloud. You guys got it? Questions? Questions?
No.
Nope. I like the way you did it. All right. Next we have easements. In front of easements, I want you to write, in big letters. In front of easements, you're going to write. These are just quick notes as you look at the bullet points, so it's a reference or the topic. So it's a reference in your mind of what it is. I know it's already in the rest of the text, but right there, easement, it's a right that I have in somebody else's property. So, a right acquired by one party to use the land of another party for a particular purpose is an easement. Very good. Now there's easement appurtenance and there's easements in gross. Where it says easement appurtenance, an easement that grants rights to an owner of an adjacent parcel of land is an easement appurtenance. So where it says adjacent parcel, you're going to circle. Where it says appurtenance, you're going to circle, because that's what it means. It means there's two properties attached to each other. One belongs to me, the other one belongs to you, right? Because if both belong to me, I don't have a right in somebody else's property. It's my property. So two properties attached. And I have a right to use your property for a particular purpose. You might have a right to use my property for a particular purpose, like a shared driveway. You got it? You use half of my driveway. I use half of your driveway. And together we have a whole driveway. Easement appurtenance. In this example here, if you guys look, for example, A and B on top, they own separate properties. So lot A and lot B. Do you see it? I know in my example here in my screen, you cannot see the lines clearly, but there's a property line right here. That's lot B. This is lot A. And if you guys keep on reading, it says that they're in the resort community, and lot A has a lake that's shared with the community. For people to access the lake, they need to go through lot A. So in this example, lot B has an easement appurtenant where they use lot A to get to the lake. They need to get there. It's part of the community, part of the benefits. So it's a right. It's not something that you can tell lot B, go like, hey, get out of here. Can't. It's a right acquired. You guys got it? Okay. Now, the same token, and we'll address this, for lot A to get to the public road, they need to go through lot B because they're landlocked. There's no other way to get to the public road if not through lot B. So they have an easement by necessity. They have a need to use your property to get out. You guys got it? Mm-hmm. Now, in easements, there's somebody who is dominant, somebody who is servient. So, the tract over which an easement runs is known as the servient estate. The tract that is to benefit from the easement is known as dominant estate. So what we're saying is it's simple. If you invite me to your house, you are the host. I am the guest. Who dominates, the host or the guest? The guest. You know why? Because you're serving me. Aren't you putting food on the table?
Yeah.
You're serving me. Aren't you allowing me to use your property?
Yeah.
I need to go to the bathroom, please. Right this way. Right? You're serving me. You're the host. So in this case, lot A is the host for the lake. And lot B is the guests. And they're dominating because they're going through lot A and taking advantage or have a benefit in lot A's property. You guys got it?
Yep.
The reverse situation is where lot A benefits from lot B's property to get to the public road. So in that scenario, who's the host? Lot B. Who's the guest? Lot A, because to get to the public road, for me to get out of here, forget this door. For me to get out of here, I got to go through your property to get out. So I'm using your property, and that's a right that I have. I dominate. I stomp through your property to get out there. And you cannot stop me. It's a right that I have. Okay? Questions? No? Okay. So now we have easement and gross. Easement and gross, I want you to think about utility companies. So I want you to write utility companies. It's not only utility companies, but utility companies are an example. Easement in gross. It's the simple right to use somebody else's property. Who's the property owner? You own property? You own property? Anybody else? You own property? Great. So property owners, here's my question. When was the last time PSE&G asked you if they could use your property? When was the last time Public Water Systems asked you if they could use your property? And for maintenance, did they ever say, hey, we need to...
No.
No, they never did?
Actually, yeah. The maintenance, if they want to change the meter, they have to call me to get inside my house.
But do they say, can we, or do they say, hey, this day we're going to be there?
Same thing to change the water meter.
Correct. They're not asking for your permission. They're telling you, and you have to be home in that scenario. They're not asking for permission. We're going to do this.
Oh, they do.
That's what I'm saying. So that's a simple right to use somebody's land. You got it? Simple. Next we have easement by necessity. Easement by necessity. I already explained this to you. If people are landlocked, they need to use somebody else's property to get to public road. They need to use it for ingress and egress, so entrance and exit. Got it? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, a few of you said yes. Can everybody say yes, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just please me for a second. That's all I needed to hear, that you guys got it. Huh? She didn't? She had said yes already. She was the first one to say it. Anyway. You guys said yes so loud that one more person entered the live and said yes also. Okay. So now we got Brian and Daniel, and there's somebody else watching, but we never know who they are. There's always one silent watcher. It's crazy. Anyway, one more. Easement by prescription. On top of easement by prescription, I want you to write adverse possession. What'd you say?
Walgreens.
Walgreens, right? We're doctors now.
Sorry, what was it?
Adverse possession.
Possession?
Yep. And or squatters' rights. You ever heard of those? Squatters' rights?
Well, it's a amendment.
Right.
Taking about the U.S. amendment that the military do not have the right to squatter.
Yeah, the rights to take over your property. Man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain why in a second. When someone has used another person's land for a certain period of time as defined by state law, an easement by prescription may be claimed. Usually I like to compare this to a $100 bill. Have you guys ever found $100 bills on the floor?
Like,
No, 20 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, $20 bill. Okay, it's the most common, right? So you found $20 bill on the floor. What do?
put them in my pocket.
You look around?
I get it.
I put it in my pocket.
Put in the you're getting set up? Yeah. You put it in your pocket right away? You don't even like,
Nope.
not even,
Finders keepers.
wow.
I look around.
You look around, she looks around.
Yeah.
Karen, what you
Maybe
say?
somebody's gonna say, "Oh, that's fine." It's nice.
Okay.
I have a funny story. So my mom said she was walking through Rutgers, Newark, and she said she was walking her dog and she saw a $20 bill on the bench, and she picked it up and put it in her pocket and kept walking. And so like all these people approached her, and she was like, "This is a test. Like we were doing this for like our class or something like that. She just wanted to know like if we were gonna pick it up or not."
Wow.
Oh my
So, and it
God.
was fake. See,
She
that's
had to
why you gotta
return?
look around.
She had to return?
Well, it was fake. It was fake $20.
Oh, it was a fake $20.
Was there a camera?
Because I was going to say, it's Newark, just run.
They'll pick it up.
That's mine. Anyway. All right, here's the thing. Sonia. I'm gonna put you guys.
Yeah, right.
So $20, you found the $20. Some of you would steal it, because that's what it is. If you put it in the pocket right away without looking around, it's stealing.
It is.
It is. But if you waited a few seconds, looked around, and nobody came to claim it, right? Because nobody goes around like,
What's a few seconds?
wait,
A few
hold on.
seconds.
So you don't go around like, whose $20 bill is this, right? You don't. You got it? So you wait a little bit, a few seconds, like I said. Hold on, I'm sorry. Does anybody have a C34HJJ license plate?
Mine.
Yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, I'll let you know in a second. I have a picture of your car. Hold on. Somebody's typing. Apparently it's leaking something. It looks like it might be oil. You want to go check real quick? I'm still talking about the $20. So real quick. Focus, Pedro's there so you can help me real quick. The guy that asks me to change the light bulb in this car. So yeah, he'll help you. No. He does. It's the funniest thing. But he's smart though, because he says all the time, there's only 3 things I need to know in life. I need to know what I know, someone that knows what I don't know, and that's pretty much all I need to know.
Yeah.
He's smart. Why would he bother to learn how to change a bulb in the car if somebody else can do it?
Yes, you.
Yeah, that's the problem. All right, now, I was talking about $20 bills on the floor. You wait a little bit. You look around like you were like the best. Them, I don't know, like in the pocket right. So you look around, right? At least. Nobody's approaching. Nobody's seeing anything. Then you grab it. Because now somebody abandoned those $20. For real estate is the same thing. But instead of 20 seconds, you wait 20 years. 20 years using the property. It says right here. The claimant's use must have been continuous, hostile, adverse to the owner's title, exclusive, and without the owner's approval. Also, the use must have been visible, open, and notorious. So we're saying it's simple. If after 20 years nobody shows up to claim the property, they have in effect abandoned the property. Right? If some of you don't wait not even 1 second to put $20 in the pocket. They abandon it. It's mine. Real estate in Jersey, 20 years. By law is what you have to wait. Other states is different. Like Florida is like 6 years. In Texas, depending on the way you do it, it might be only 5 years. But good news is that tomorrow I'll show you how to do it in 2. Anyway, handling up some more here. Monica, here's you. Sorry.
About the whole thing.
I didn't get there yet.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just asking.
You gotta bring the old lady seriously.
You can always kind of mention the old lady.
Okay. Now they're wondering what's the old lady. That's why we don't say things ahead of time.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It was not that time. But the old lady you should mention.
Anyway, an owner can halt the process by specifically granting permission for use or by cutting off continuous use. I want you guys to underline where it says specifically granting. Because if you have a neighbor that's an old lady, sweet old lady, I mean, I have to mention the old lady. Let's say you have a neighbor, sweet old lady, and all she does, she's retired, all she does is plant her garden, maintain the flowers, and for some reason, she believes that your garden should have flowers as well. So she starts planting on yours. She starts maintaining your side of it. And you're so happy because you're not a gardener, so you say, oh, hi neighbor, nice job. Guess what that sweet old lady's doing for 20 years? 20 years later, she can claim that section she's been maintaining. Right? She won't be alive? But that's what it is. The purpose of this is not to spill the ladies, for you guys to understand that anybody maintaining your side of the property, if you don't say specifically it's okay for you to do this, or if you don't cut off the use, they could, 20 years later, continuing doing the same thing, 20 years later, they could claim that portion as theirs. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. You're thinking now? Somebody's been doing that to your property, or you've been doing it to
I've
theirs?
been going to somebody.
So this class, there's a pro, there's a con. Some people realize, oh, wait a minute, I've been doing this. Other people are like, damn, my neighbor's been doing this.
So my neighbor's been has hedges. He comes over, like, goes through our fence, but he has his people come and cut it. He could claim that, because he's coming over and cutting it?
No,
Okay.
that's different.
That's still.
Do you hire them, or you?
No, my neighbor hires them.
Oh, the neighbor's the one that hires.
Because they're his hedges, so he feels like, and he's a really nice old man, so I just let him.
Oh, man.
Well, I never said that I have to do it personally. The property needs to be maintained.
Yeah, but the process of jumping into the fence,
So careful.
she's saying that it jump to the fence to maintain.
It goes through the fence.
It goes through the fence.
I mean, we
Encroaching.
do too, when he doesn't do it.
I'm gonna get to encroachments in a second. But if they encroach, it's the same thing. After 20 years, somebody can claim.
Does it happen often?
Huh?
Does it happen? Like, have you, like, heard about it?
All right, so if we're gonna look at statistically, how many people win the Mega Millions?
No, man.
Not many, but do people still win the Mega Millions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do people win something? Not everything?
Right.
That happens way more often, right? Instead of 10 million, you win 100,000. Correct? Those happen a lot, the 100,000s, the 200,000s. Yeah. So I'm not winning the whole house. That's winning the Mega Millions.
Right.
But winning a portion, yeah, it happens a lot. And Raquel's asking, how can they prove that in court? Well, you got to have witnesses or document what you do, take pictures, right? Or, very simple, when you go in front of the judge, it's under penalty of perjury, right? So you cannot lie. If you lie, could be fraud, you could go to jail and you lose way more than just that little corner of the house. So it's up to you, you choose. The easiest thing to do is, yes, sweet old lady, it's okay for you to do this. So I give you specific permission. Because later on when we're in court, Your Honor, but I did give specific permission. What's the best way to do it? Put it in writing. I am okay with you, especially in your situation. I am okay with you jumping over the fence to trim. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Put something in writing. Hey, just want to make sure, because the nicest way to say this, I just want to make sure in case they get injured on my property, you're the one that hired them. So I just want a little okay. It's okay for them to continue the job on this side. Now I have something in writing that says you gave specific permission, therefore nobody can claim your property. Okay, now the question is, this comes from Pedro. Is there any mechanic in the house? No. I thought you were going to say yes.
No.
All right.
Or girl. Go there, Bruno.
Okay, so that's the antifreeze. Sorry. If it's green, it's not oil.
Yeah,
And Bruno doesn't know.
No, I just told him what it was.
So he didn't know.
She can drive.
There was some show that talked about, like, I guess they were smarters or whatever. They went into people's homes and they lived there. It must have been one of the places that you didn't have to be there for a long time, but they lived there for X amount of years, started to get mail there.
Anna? The other Anna? Question? Go ahead.
They started to get mail there, and like the neighbors kind of got wind to what they were doing, and they were upset because the property was about to become the squatters or whatever, and they didn't like it because they had to pay for their homes, and this person was about to get this home for like nothing. So.
Yeah. So that happened in Texas, where somebody won the property for $16, which was the cost over there to file the proper paperwork.
Right. Wow.
That happened in Florida,
But people.
where this kid got a $3.4 million mansion with a simple process without having to pay for everything. So, yeah.
Hold on.
I'm holding
You need to stop.
I was addressing
Yeah.
one question, I'm sorry.
What I was saying.
That was my fault, you see this?
Yeah. God.
Translating, she said she hates me.
So
Want
the
coffee?
the person claiming the house, that's what was my mind again. Forget it. I totally forgot.
Next.
So what are you guys talking about with the squatters? Like, how did they get that then? How did the guy?
Oh, there's a process. You need to file a public notice that that's what you're intending to do. So everybody in the world must know what you're doing.
Here we go. That was the question. When you file, Ben.
Don't stop, go.
So when you file that you're gonna get a property, do you have to give a letter to everybody around? Or
No, you just have to put notice on the property.
that the house is yours? Like outside? Hey, the house is mine?
The house is not yours, but hey, I'm putting a claim on this property if anybody, thank you, no. Sweet enough.
Yeah.
So if anybody has a claim or a dispute of me doing what I'm doing, then you have X amount of days, depending on the state, to show up and complain about it.
What do you mean? You gotta explain. You're gonna put a sign in
No,
front
you
of
put a
the
sign
house?
in front of the house, on the property, could be a paper. You guys seen those Togo Bye
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I thought you said that's what it is. I was like, oh.
The little tiny letters.
Mhm.
All you have to do is put a notice. Nobody said I have to put a billboard. I'm claiming this house. No, just a notice so everybody can see. And you have to file, depending on the state, they have different laws. You have to file also in the newspaper. So local newspaper that you are doing this. Once the notice period has ended, you can remove everything. Live there until the 20 years have passed, or Florida 6 years, or Texas 5 years, and so on.
It's like you're infecting somebody else to live there.
Pretty much.
So I'm still a little confused. So how does this even start? Like,
She wants to steal people's property.
no, I'm just curious. I mean,
The property's abandoned, somebody else goes in there.
Yes. Remember, it's an abandoned claim. You found the $20. So you found an abandoned property.
right? Okay.
Okay. Now you need to look for easement by prescription, adverse possession, or squatters' rights procedures in your state. Once you have that, then it tells you exactly how to file it. It's legally claiming or stealing somebody else's property because they effectively abandoned the property. Now the question is, you going to feel bad about it?
Yeah.
No, because it's either you or the town. If it's abandoned, somebody's going to take the property. Simple.
So, driving around.
Start driving around the abandoned properties. You're going to put Sebastian doing something, right? I'm already like, I got you.
I'm gonna tell him.
Yeah? Sebastian, how come you didn't tell me this? We could have been driving around. It's called driving for dollars, by the way. You guys ever come up with that? Come up across courses like that? Is drive for dollars. Drive around, you find properties that you would benefit or somebody else you know will be able to purchase and benefit from, and you get paid for it. Anyway. How much did they pay for this course? You need to start charging more. Anyway.
Yeah, when you say a property is abandoned, nobody lives there, but the doors are locked, so you can get access to it. Is that
They have
considered
the what?
abandoned?
A lock?
Yeah,
What lock?
locked to the entrance, into the compound, or into the house.
I don't know what you're talking about. He was never there.
Okay.
It's a gray area. Technically, if you break in, it's trespassing. Technically. But it's the same thing as weed. Right now, the laws in New Jersey, I'm letting you know right now. Like federal law is still a crime. Jersey allows you to, if you have medical, you can, grow it if you have the license. But the thing is, because it's a federal crime, where did it come from? In Jersey, they don't ask you. As long as you don't get caught transporting it into Jersey, after it's done and you're growing it, nobody bothers you. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. With this process right here, if they catch you breaking and entering, you go to jail. Every door has a lock, but this is legal, so there has to be a way in, right? And I'm not telling you guys to go and break and enter into people's homes. Do not do this. Before...
So cameras around.
No, especially after Blockbuster. You guys already know how to scare people out of their homes, right?
If there's no lock, it's not considered trespassing.
It's still trespassing.
Oh,
You entering somebody else's property is trespassing, but who can claim trespass? The owner.
right.
Is the owner there?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, if the police see you breaking a lock, it's breaking and entering. If you're inside the property, they're not questioning you, are you the owner? That's what I'm trying to say. It's a gray area right there. So you got to be very careful because, you could go to jail. So before you do something like this, and let's move forward because I need to move forward, but before you do something like this, what should you do? Learn the laws, the rules and regulations to this particular procedure. Or listen to what I'm going to tell you tomorrow, and we'll do the same thing, but without having to break locks. How about that? And without waiting 20 years. You do it in 2 years.
Good.
All right, I guess I'm gonna be rich.
I hope so. Just share the wealth, okay? Children. You know what? Anna, come sit in the front. Sonia, go sit in the back. It's them too, I'm telling you. Like Karen's so quiet here, right? Stephanie is quiet, and these two distracting. Not you, Anna. The other Anna. Sorry, that's why you look at me like that. So the other Anna comes in the front. That's it? Okay. No, Nigeria's turn to the wall. That's what we said, right? Face the wall.
We are in
You get locked out. If it was in Portugal, something would be thrown at you.
Oh, yeah. Whip.
I would know.
Okay.
This.
Does it work?
Just say this. No, but this is watching Mike. It's been here for a while.
Yes, be careful.
All right. You guys good? Tacking. Right above tacking, I want you to write stacking. So it's the same thing, but put an S behind it. Stacking. The ones at home are probably like, thank God I'm not in that class anymore.
Maybe screaming.
70 years, that's what it meant, right?
Getting there, but yes. So where it says tacking, I want you to write stacking. What does the word stacking mean? Pile up, right?
Yeah.
So tacking is piling up of successive periods of time. Meaning, okay, Sergio, you were there for 5 years. In those 5 years, you said, you know what? This is really risky. Let me get rid of it. And then Henry came along and says, hey, I heard you're gifting or donating or selling your interest or potential claim in this property. So you sell it to him. Your interest on the property that's not yours.
Wow.
So the person gets money.
I'm telling you, I'm going to kick you out of the class. Seriously, other Anna. This is a serious, dead serious note. Anyway, so you took over. And you're there for 10 years. Okay? So you were there for 5, you're there for 10, and then I show up. And I buy the rights from you. What's the total if I'm here for another 5 years? 5, 10, plus 5 is? Okay, 20 years. What is the adverse possession time period? 20 years. So tacking is pretty much stacking or piling up the successive periods of years to meet the 20-year prescription. That means I don't have to be there for the whole 20 years. You can be there 5, you're there 10, and then I'm another 5. The total is 20. I can claim. How do you prove that? Before they ask me at home, and before you guys ask me. Again, witnesses, the neighbors, electricity bills, newspapers that run all the way back and you're taking pictures with it. Today's a lot easier because we do selfies all day long, right? And it's clear. You can see the years have gone by based on the type of app you use. Right?
So, no matter what, you can live in somebody's property just paying electricity, cable, this type of stuff, and then if somebody gets there and they say, hey, this is my property, you just take your stuff with you, you run away, nobody gets to leave you.
So,
And
as I said, the owner can halt and kick you out.
that's it, they cannot do anything else.
No, you have no claims until 20 years later. And even for you to have a claim, you must take legal action to perfect the easement. So for you to really have a claim on it.
They don't have a question.
So 20 years later, you have the right to it, but you don't have an actual claim. So anytime during those 20 years, right, somebody can kick you out. Your neighbors could call the cops, or the owner could kick you out, right?
Is it gonna go through an eviction?
It will be an ejectment.
Or ejectment?
Not eviction. Because eviction, you're a tenant. Here, you're not a tenant. You're illegally trespassing.
So, yeah, here we go. If you're illegally trespassing, then if you can sue the person because
Sue who?
not sue, but you can. I don't
Sue
know.
who? The person living there, the squatter? If I can sue?
Yeah.
If they destroy the property, yes. If not, I'll be happy. Just get out, please. I will not sue you.
Can you?
Thank you for everything you've improved on my property.
How's it gonna get rid of the squatter?
Ejectment.
Just call the cops and tell them?
First, call the cops. If they don't leave because they're trying to claim some type of right, then we go to court and it's called an ejectment.
But until it takes place, it takes a while.
What, the ejectment?
Yeah.
It's faster than eviction. You're a trespasser.
Before you leave the house, I know when you're a tenant, you cannot destroy the house because. But can you?
If
do
you're a
anything
trespasser, now you're getting sued big time.
because you took everything out of the house, or you left a mess, or
Taking your things is one thing.
okay,
Destroying the property is another.
not destroying, but you clean.
Taking
the
your
house.
things is one thing because it didn't belong to the owner to begin with.
But if it did, and you still took it,
Then obviously I'm going to sue you for all the damage. That's damage. Okay? Good?
you just gotta leave it clean before you can.
Oh, Lord, he doesn't.
Anyway, not important for state exam.
No, I just want to just.
Correct. Make sure if you guys ever do something like this, learn the procedures, the rules and regulations to get this done. Okay? Next, party walls. What is a party wall? No, not that type of party. It's a wall that separates the ownership between property A and property B. So if you have a duplex, or if you have a townhouse, or if you live in a condo, right? There's walls that separate that owner from this owner, correct? These are called party walls. Now, we are talking about easements or rights that somebody has in somebody else's property, correct? So a party wall comes with rights. They have a right on my half of the wall because I need to maintain it and support their half. And they have a right, I have a right on their half of the wall because they have to support and maintain my half. Because if I destroy this, what's going to happen to the wall? It could collapse, it could get destroyed, right? So it's under rights. That person has a right on half of my wall, I have a right on half of their wall. You need to maintain it. You guys good? Okay. Right hand side on top. Terminating an easement is easy, just mark the bullet points. I want you to go to where it says licenses. Where it says licenses. I want you to write permission or privilege. Permission or privilege. Okay.
What happened?
That oil is leaking, I don't know.
That's what I told Pedro, that's the antifreeze.
The
Oil is not green.
Oh, so I don't know what to do. My mechanic is closed.
Good to drive.
So,
Okay, it's still drivable. It's just if it drops the temperature, you might freeze, but we're not having freezing weather, so you're not gonna have much of a problem. Says mechanic Bruno.
So, if something happens, yes.
because it's dripping underneath the car.
Mhm. So you have a leak.
Yeah, it's a leak.
Yeah, it
That's
should
all
be.
it is.
As long as you're on,
Huh?
as long as it doesn't go low.
Do you have AAA?
No,
Okay. Do you want AAA?
I should get it.
Oh, yeah, she can use your.
The insurance probably helped.
Do you have insurance?
Yes.
Do you have roadside assistance?
No,
I didn't really check. Because
Okay.
I never really needed it for anything.
So the first thing you do is you call the insurance company and see if they have roadside assistance,
Mhm.
and you can call them up and they'll take care of that. Which insurance do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
Progressive.
So you should come with the policy if it's if you have full coverage. If it's liability only, then you might not have it. So call your insurance first and figure out. Okay. But if you need AAA or anything like that, let me know.
Hopefully,
I'm sorry.
hopefully.
No, if she needs a service for somebody to come here and get it out. Not if she needs AAA,
All
the membership
Okay.
service.
So you said it's an antifreeze? Because-
That's what I believe it is because there's no oil that's green.
How big is the leak?
Well, I took a picture of it.
No.
All right, let me finish this chapter real quick. It's just this page break, and then we'll talk about all this.
We're almost
Sorry.
at summer.
So, licenses, permission or privilege. Does anybody have a driver's license?
Yeah.
Who does that belong to?
State.
To this day.
Hold on.
To New Jersey.
Always. It belongs to who?
State.
State of New Jersey. Doesn't belong to you.
No.
So, can the state of New Jersey revoke
Yes.
your license?
Yeah.
Yes. So just like your driver's license, a license is me allowing you to park on my driveway, for instance, and it can be revoked. I allow you to park today, but tomorrow I can say get out. It's not a right that you acquired. It was permission for that particular day. It could be withdrawn, okay? It's not a permanent right. It may be withdrawn. Next, we have encroachments. In front of encroachment, I want you to write illegal extension. Illegal extension. So it says when all or part of a building, fence, driveway, or any other installation illegally extends beyond the land of its owner, and it covers some land of an adjoining owner, or street or alley, an encroachment arises. So let's say I have a fence that separates us. This fence belongs to me, and I want to upgrade the fence because it's the metal mesh one, and I want to upgrade it to the vinyl white tall one, right? So I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to install a new one somewhere around here.
Why not there?
I just gain a foot or foot and a half times 100. Okay? If after 20 years of this encroachment or illegal extension into your property, if after 20 years you do not say anything, you do not say anything to us,
That's mine.
it's not mine, but I can claim it. Okay? Look at that. Encroachments for 20 years may give rise to easement by prescription. So all we need to do is start moving fences. You got it?
I have one.
Lastly, the last thing, thank you very much, last thing, deed restrictions. We're going to talk about that in chapter 9. But deed restrictions are restrictive clauses added to a deed when the property is conveyed. They are established by the seller to restrict future owners' use of the property. So I can say the property is yours as long as. It's a restriction. You can or cannot do certain things with your property. Isn't that one of the things we started with this chapter?
Yeah.
Perfect. Summary. Break. Okay? Guys, we'll be right back. Are you at home?